From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Victor Beatty reporting at least 19 people were killed and dozens more wounded in a blast at an Ariana Grande concert in the English city of Manchester late Monday. British Prime Minister Theresa May denounced what she called an appalling terrorist attack. The Home Secretary is Amber Rudd.
This was a barbaric attack, deliberately targeting some of the most vulnerable in our society, young people, children, out at a pop concert.
She said the intention was to sow fear and divide, but she said in that the attack would not succeed. President Donald Trump meets Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas Tuesday in the West Bank town of Bethlehem. Mr. Trump hopes to kickstart the moribund Israeli-Palestinian peace process. Monday, he met Israeli officials denouncing Iran as a state sponsor of terrorism.
Together we can work to end the scourge of violence that has taken so many lives here in Israel and around the world. Most importantly, the United States and Israel can declare with one voice that Iran must never be allowed to possess a nuclear weapon, never, ever, and must cease its deadly funding, training, and equipping of terrorists and militias.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he appreciates the reassertion of American leadership in the Middle East.
I look forward to working closely with you to confront the dangers we face together in this violent and volatile Middle East. I believe that together we could roll back Iran's march of aggression and terror in this region, and we can thwart Iran's unbridled ambition to become a nuclear weapon state.
Iran's newly re-elected president Hassan Rouhani says regional stability could not be achieved without Iranian help, and he took aim at U.S. policy for making mistakes in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and Iran. This is VOA News. South Sudanese President Salva Kiir has declared a unilateral ceasefire and pledged to release political prisoners. The country has been mired in civil war since late 2013 after Mr. Kiir fired his vice president, Riek Machar. Mr. Kiir said such a truce could create an environment for an inclusive dialogue and allow the transport of humanitarian aid to famine-struck areas. Tunisian security forces clashed with protesters Monday who burned down 2 police stations following the death of a young man hit by a police vehicle. Protesters have been holding rallies for weeks demanding more jobs and a share of the energy wealth taken from the south of the country. Anti-government protesters were back in the streets in the cities of Venezuela Monday, including many doctors. Protester Naira Correa said they're there because they're tired of the humanitarian crisis. Many patients, she said, face a virtual death sentence because of a lack of medicines. Nearly 50 people have been killed in often violent clashes in recent weeks over the South American country's deepening political and economic crisis. Embattled Brazilian President Michel Temer, facing growing calls for his resignation over corruption allegations, said Monday he'll not resign, insisting it will be an admission of guilt. Mr. Temer took office following the impeachment and removal of his predecessor, Dilma Rousseff, on separate corruption charges a year ago. Eurozone finance ministers failed to agree Monday on debt relief for Greece in talks with the International Monetary Fund, but Eurogroup President Göran Dijsselbloem said progress gives him hope for a breakthrough in recent weeks.
We have made huge progress on the policy package, on which so much work has been done in the last months and on which agreement had been reached between Greece and the institutions. And the Eurogroup, of course, welcomed that very much. We are also very positive on the work done in Greece to implement those agreed measures and reforms prior actions.
Greece needs a new infusion of cash to avoid default in July when it must repay more than $8 billion worth of maturing loans. Lenders await parliamentary action on pension reform and tax hikes. Turkey Monday summoned the U.S. ambassador to protest the treatment of Turkish security officials during President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's U.S. visit last week. Fights erupted between the officials and protesters outside of the Turkish ambassador's residence. Turkey blamed the incident on demonstrators linked to the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party, but the U.S. said it was disturbed by the conduct of the security officials. The UN envoy to Syria, Staffan de Mistura, Monday said the next round of Geneva peace talks will convene next month. Both sides have, for the first time, agreed to discuss a post-conflict constitution. I'm Victor Beattie.
That's the latest world news from VOA.